Hello. Okay. For those that want to be a life coach or that kind of a thing, because I say that I'm a meaning coach, so it's kind of like a life coach. It's just a little different. It's more like I guess a specialized kind of. I'm still really working on it, which this video kind of explains why I'm working on it and that kind of thing. Well, I have a career. I'm a meaning coach. It's a life coach. It's that kind of thing where I want to do for the world. And yes, it'd be nice to be able to make money and for the world at the same time. It's just, which I'm getting there. That's not what we're talking about here. It's more about, this video is more about saying, hey, you want to be a life coach? This is what most, they'll tell, if you look at some places will say this to you. It's just, you got to have essentially like a methodology to it. And one thing to really keep in mind, you have to have a methodology. Maybe not methodology is the technical term or the word to really use. It's just you have to be able to utilize a system that you develop that people are going to go to and be like, okay, that makes sense, in ways of saying, here's this step, here's this step, here's this step, and here's this step. Because you have to keep in mind that people are at different conscious levels, different psyches, and everything like that. Where simply saying a baby chicken does not just pop out as a hen. It pops out as a baby chicken and then it goes into a hen. There's no way to skip those steps. You have to do those steps in order to understand something. Because you can teach somebody physics, yet if they have no mathematical experience at all, you're going to not just teach them physics, you're going to be teaching them adding and subtracting while teaching them physics at the same time. So they're not going to get it. They're not going to get it at all. So that's why you have to have a system that speaks from this step to this step to this step, because everybody that you meet is going to be at different steps, and they're going to all have different questions, yet they're going to be the same questions worded differently. So you have to keep in mind, how do you develop your methodology in ways that everybody can comprehend of the steps that you can take. And some are going to want to know your first steps and going to want to know how you get there. So you really have to be able to comprehend how to communicate, articulate in ways and methods and workshop-ish kind of things that they can use in their daily lives. Very simple. Always, always, always keep it simple. Because if you complicate it, they're going to try to use it and they're going to fail. Because why do you absolutely, as a life coach, do you want to keep it simple? Unless they absolutely want to come to you and keep asking questions. Still, you want to keep it simple. The reason why you want to keep it simple is because, well, they're going to apply this to their life. And if they have not taken the steps to it, because there's going to be a point where you post everything online and whatnot, and somebody's going to find it. If you don't keep it every step really simple, they're going to try to apply it. And then they might think that you're not worth it, or what, in a sense, because they failed, because they had too much to think about. They had, well, you know, as a life coach, you have to, you're trying to address different issues. You know, a life coach should be a fitness coach, and so you're trying to address their health issues, yet they're stressed out and they're eating because of they don't have enough money, or they got this and this and this. So you have to keep it simple. Now that's just a one scenario. It still applies to everyone, or all the other scenarios where you have to keep it simple. At the same time, you got to be able to explain every single step in that step, and still apply without necessarily applying those other steps. Because every step should really be of its own kind of a thing. Unless you're able to have one-step process, where it's kind of like a one-step process with you just taking footsteps or inches. I'm not sure how to just keep it simple and have it in a way in a way that everybody can understand it, because they're going to want it simple, because they're going to have a stressful moment really just trying to change their life, and they're going to have a breakdown moment if it's too complicated and they're trying to understand it because they really want to change their life and they really like you and all that kind of stuff. Just keep that in mind when you are trying to be a life coach, because you have to develop your own methodology, because you're selling yourself. Potentially, you're not selling an image, you're selling your version of the world, which is not an image. It's just a perception and a viewpoint.